You know, I love growing tomatoes, and I try to get an early start, and that's when my greenhouse comes in really handy. You see what I'm doing right now? I'm just taking some soil, putting it around this tomato. This is a wonderful variety of tomato called Better Bush tomato, and I planted them in here only a week ago. And just look at the difference in the size of this tomato. This one didn't get planted, same age, but by having a larger container to grow in, look how much growth I've gotten in a week with this plant. And it's already got some little buds. In fact, a flower has already opened here on this side. So I'm really excited. What I'm doing is I'm taking the side leaves off. And what's interesting about tomatoes is you really want to plant them almost 80% into the soil. So when I planted these, I planted them really deeply. And now what I'm doing is I'm adding even more soil, because what will happen is the roots will grow out of the side of the stem and you'll make a much stronger plant. You want as large and developed a root system as you possibly can. Okay, so I've got these all ready, and I'll keep fertilizing them and keeping them consistently moist, and they'll just continue to grow. And I've got some of these guys over here that need to go into larger pots. Now, one of the things I really enjoy doing in my greenhouse in the winter is starting all kinds of seedlings, but particularly tomato plants. And what I try to do is plant the seed about 6 weeks before I think I'm going to move the plant outside. What I do is I use these little discs. These are peat moss discs. You can see it starts like this, a little wafer. And when you add water, it expands, and it's got this little netting around it, which holds the soil mix together, and the roots can grow in this, and you form a little root ball with the plant. And what you do is you just take the seed, and what's convenient is that a packet of these seed, this is Brandywine tomato, by the way, just drop a little seed in there and cover it up like that with about a ½ inch of soil. Now what I'll do is these will germinate, and after they have about 4 leaves on them, I'll bump them up to a larger peat pot like this. But when I do that, I'm going to make sure that I tear into this little fibrous netting, because I want those roots to be able to grow out and fill up this entire peat pot. Now, the great thing about these is you can plant them directly in the soil. So what I can do is I can take these and just tear into the sides of them, tear the sides off. They'll decompose naturally. They just become part of the soil, the soil structure, and the plant will just keep on growing. And when I plant them in the ground, I'll take all these lower leaves off, and I'll bring the soil right up to the neck, where I only have 20% of the plant standing. Again, that goes back to what I did here. You get a really strong root system that way. And one of the things you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure that these stay consistently moist. They can't sit in standing water. I'll cover this with this little plastic top, so it's going to create its own little greenhouse environment. I want to make sure the temperatures stay in the 70s here. And if you don't have that at home, you at least want to put them on a warming mat that you can pick up at a local garden center, because the key is the soil must be warm. Those little tomato seeds will not germinate in cold soil. And if you're finding these tips helpful, make sure you share them with a friend and subscribe to ehowhome.